PR Connections Radio presents
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here in the sports and entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, on prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. We have a fantastic show planned out for you, but before we get into that, make sure to like and share and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so not miss any episode of Vegas Hockey Hub. And go to the prconnectionsradio.com website, check out all the content we have there. We have about 14 shows on the network, so we'd highly appreciate everybody being a part of the network and everyone who's on there. And if you are on the YouTube channel for PR Connections Radio, like, share, and subscribe. We definitely appreciate everybody who is a part of our channel. And if you are on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel, welcome in. We appreciate everyone over there on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel. We post content every single day on that channel, so stay tuned for that content. And go to our website as well, vegashockeyhub.com. And for all the members on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media sites that we have on there, at Vegas Hockey Hub and at PR Connections Radio. So our guest for tonight's show, as we are going to be discussing the Buffalo Sabres, and we're going to be discussing a team out there in the Northeast. We needed somebody with a little bit more expertise, a little more knowledge than your host, Ian Rachiele, does. So, going over from the 716, we have Andre Robinson from Rise Up Sports. Welcome, Andre. How's it going?
What's going on, man? The fire starter's in the building. I'm just glad to be back again. It's a blessing to see my guy, Ian Rachiele, right now doing big things in Las Vegas, Nevada. And thank you for having me on the show, my guy.
And it's always a pleasure. Now, with the Buffalo Sabres, we have to start this off by talking about the obvious. And that is Jack Eichel, the Buffalo Sabres legend, obviously coming to Las Vegas, winning a Stanley Cup for our Vegas Golden Knights, being a big part of that team, finishing second in Conn Smythe Trophy voting behind Jonathan Marchessault. So, man, what do you think about Jack Eichel? I mean, 18 months ago, he was a member of the Buffalo Sabres. He was a guy that was basically your franchise, and now he's here in Vegas helping us win Stanley Cups, man. What's the deal?
Well, first and foremost, Rocco Rachiele, he is not a Buffalo Sabres legend at all. So you can stop that right now. I see you try to tweak things. I see you try to turn up early. I'm the fire starter, my guy, and you try to fire start early on your show. Good way to say, hey, welcome back to the podcast world, Andre. I'm gonna fire start with you by making that comment. Number one. Number two. Secondly, even when Jack Eichel comes first, he still comes second to us. As far as the Sabres is concerned, we are not fans of Jack Eichel whatsoever, and he knows why. But the third thing I will say is, sometimes when you go to a different environment, you produce better. So I'm happy for Jack Eichel and the championship that he won with the Vegas Golden Knights. No hatred here as far as that. He definitely did big things when he came here the last time, but it still remains the same as it pertains to Jack Eichel. He ain't no Buffalo Sabres legend to us.
But he is always going to be a legend for the Vegas Golden Knights and here in Las Vegas, the sports and entertainment capital of the world. Now, one player that used to be a Vegas Golden Knight, someone who was a good portion of our middle six. We had to let him go in the Jack Eichel trade, but he has become a first-line winger out there in Buffalo. Of course, I'm talking about the Syracuse, New York native, and that is Alex Tuck. So when it comes to Alex Tuck, what is your expectations for this upcoming year regarding Alex Tuck and him being in Buffalo for now his second full season?
Well, first and foremost, Alex Tuck, we thank you very much, Tucky, for coming here. That's what we call him here. We call him Tucky here. My guy definitely has done big things for the Buffalo Sabres organization. Definitely career highs coming here to the Sabres last year with Tage Thompson being his partner on that line. Gotta love what he's done. Upstanding guy. I've interviewed him multiple times. His personality, great personality. Sometimes, personalities is and having a good, character is sometimes better than winning championships. So I take Alex Tuck all day, every day. We thank you for the blessing that you gave us as far as Alex Tuck is concerned. We'll keep Tucky right where we need to be. And our expectation is for him to be great again like he was last season. With the line mates that he has. Rasmus Dahlin, obviously Tage Thompson, who definitely became a mega star last season, played lights out last year. Got to give him his credit. Shout out to Victor Olofsson as well, who just had a baby, by the way. Shout out to him. VO. We like what he does with that line, with those players. Phenomenal. We got a whole bunch of new guys too, and a whole bunch of young guys as well. So we happy about Alex Tuck and, what he's done leadership wise with the young guys as well. So.
And I also know that there was one more player who was sent over in the Jack Eichel deal. Now, he is on the middle six right now. He is not going to be a top six forward at the moment. But, of course, we are talking about former top prospect in Vegas, and that is Peyton Krebs. Now, Peyton Krebs was developing here in Vegas, but he really didn't blossom as a player until he got into Buffalo. So similar to what we talked about with Tucky, what is your expectations for Peyton Krebs this upcoming year?
My expectation for Peyton Krebs, it's Krebs house, baby. If you didn't know, it's Krebs house. We love Peyton Krebs here too. Phenomenal young guy who wants to learn, develop, and get better. Last season, he had a -8, but he played about 13 minutes, 50 seconds per outing. Definitely was better as far as the scorer is concerned, become a better scorer, a better player, all in all. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this guy's upside because he showed us a lot last year. Definitely gave us flashes, and he's going to be the type of guy, even though he's not a top six forward in the middle six, like he said, a top six guy. He's going to definitely get an extension that's going to pay him some dividends because he's going to produce even more than he did last season, for sure.
Now, getting away from the Vegas Golden Knights aspect of it, because, the Buffalo Sabres and Vegas Golden Knights have had a good history when it comes to trading players and acquiring players back and forth between Buffalo and Vegas. There is a player that you acquired in the Ryan O'Reilly trade a couple of years ago who originally wasn't panning out. There wasn't a lot of people that had hype on him. But, man, the last year, he has blossomed into the best player the Buffalo Sabres have. And, of course, I'm talking about Tage Thompson. So, Tage Thompson really developing into a star. Can he become a superstar in Buffalo?
So you say tomato, I say tomato, right? You think you asked if he's a megastar. I think he's already a megastar here. Now. I mean, why don't you give it to him now? Don't wait till later. We saw what he did last year. Would you say his last year production puts him in the megastar conversation?
I say star, not superstar.
So, okay. So, you said star, not superstar. So here's what I would ask you. What stars do you compare Tage Thompson to?
I would say when it comes to Tage Thompson, I look at him. I don't think he's a Pasternak. I don't think he's an Austin Matthews. I wouldn't put him on that level. But if I really had to compare him, I think he's Trevor's. I think that he is potentially somebody like Clayton Keller. He's somebody who can put pucks in the back of the net. But I wonder if he can get past being a top 30 player in the NHL. Because he's around, top 30, top 40.
Okay, so here's my thoughts. A guy who played 78 games last year, right? Who scored 47 goals and put up 47 assists as well. That's not top 5. That's not top 5, top 10 player.
He would have to do it for one more year to become a top 10 player.
Oh, so you want to see a repeat?
That would be correct.
So we got to do the Michael Jordan thing. You want to see a two-peat, a repeat, some type of peat going on for you to believe. Okay, I respect it. Well, here's my thoughts on Tage Thompson this year. Tage Thompson will put up just as many points as he did last year, if not more this year. I expect 100-point season from Tage Thompson this season. And then Ian Rachiele will believe. My guy, the lovely Golden Knights guy will believe in Tage Thompson.
Now, before we get off the top line in Buffalo, there is one more player on here, and he's kind of a risky topic, and that's Jeff Skinner. Jeff Skinner has been in Buffalo for years now, and he's kind of been up and down. So, what's your opinion on Jeff Skinner? I have my opinion, obviously, but what's your opinion on Jeff Skinner? Because he's had some ups and downs.
So I hear ice cracking when you say that. And the reason why I hear ice cracking when you say that is because you said that he's had ups and downs. His downs would be what exactly? Before I even get it, I'm gonna ask. I gotta ask. What downs are you alluding to?
I'm talking about the back-to-back years he scored less than 30 points.
You mean scored less than 30 goals?
Not 30 goals, 30 points. There was back-to-back years that he had less than 25 points.
With the Sabres?
With the Sabres, yes.
Okay. Right. Jeff Skinner scored 82 points last season.
That was among his highest. Yes.
The year before, he scored more than 30 points. The year before. He put up 35 goals this year and 47 assists. And they had a plus 15, which is one of the highest amongst all the players on the Sabres team. When he's
That'd be correct, based off last year.
Yeah, based off of last year. Now, if we're talking about production and development, I think he's developed better every season that he's been with the Sabres. I mean, sometimes when you go to a new organization, it just doesn't click right then and there. Sometimes it takes a year, another year to get some continuity. You also have to remember that the Sabres have also, in his tenure, had two different coaches as well. See, Don wasn't his first coach. Do you remember who was his first coach when he came here?
Dan Baldwin?
Who?
Dan Baldwin.
Okay, so Dan Bosma, but do we also remember Phil Housley?
Vaguely.
Oh yeah, see, you very vaguely remember him, and for good reason. Neither one of those coaches were great, so I'm not surprised that Skinner, Skinny, we call him Skinny here, Skinny, kind of struggled. I mean, in hockey, I feel like a little bit more when you're a star player or when you're a higher level player, that your coaching kind of precedes you when it comes down to your the level of play and production, because you're trying to play to a certain scheme. There's certain schematics laid out for you,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like Housley's schematics was god awful, in which it preceded Jeff Skinner's performance. Uh, Dan's was not too much better, and Don has been through that up and down phase as a coach, to where Jeff Skinner has elevated his game, because that's where we're at. If you watch the Sabres the last couple months, the Sabres were one of the hottest teams in the NHL. When you watch the Sabres in the very beginning, the Sabres were kind of hot, but then I think teams started getting their footing, and started to perform better. So the Sabres had some time, I guess, some time to try to figure out things, but Skinner still produced. And I think that might be part of the reason why you when you say ups and downs, that's why I asked you, like, what are you alluding to as far as him himself as a performer? I don't see.
I was just pointing out that I was just pointing out in
I was pointing out in
2019 and
2019 and
2020, in
2020,
a 2-season
in a
span, he had
two-season
21
span,
goals.
he had 21 goals.
That's where I
Yeah,
was living.
That's
and
where I was living.
his effort has never really been an issue for me personally. Again, I just think when
So it's
you
about
get
the coaching.
around,
Okay, so that's what the conclusion
yeah,
is. It's about
it's about the coaching. Plus, on top of that, uh, he had 33 goals the year before. He had 33 goals the year before, not last year. Last year he had 35. The year before he had 33. The year before that, you talk about his first 2 seasons, is in which he had 14-9 and 7-7. Those 2 seasons as well, he only played 50 games though. Let's not forget that he didn't play those full seasons. That he
But you
missed
do
at
have to
least.
remember one of those years was the COVID year, where it was only 56
Yes,
games.
correct. The 2020, 2019, 2020 season. Yeah, we know about the COVID season as well. So I mean, are we really saying that that's where his ups and downs is, because he didn't score because he didn't play enough? Because I feel like if he played a full season, he probably would have had more than 30 points. But again, it also goes back to what I said: two different coaches, and Don's a totally different coach than the two that we just talked about, which is Housley and Dan, who shall forever remain nameless in my book.
So since we got to the coaching, let's go to the general manager for a second, because I do believe that Kevin Adams is doing better than Jason Botterill ever did in
Buffalo. That's an understatement, sir. That is an understatement.
So what moves has Adams made that kind of impressed you since you're out there in Buffalo?
Adams? To me, to be honest with you, it's not really the moves that has impressed me with Kevin Adams. It's the standard in which he sets that impresses me the most. What he wants and what he wants out of the team has impressed me more than any move that he's made, to be honest. And you can see it. The culture he's building with Don is something that you can see. I literally had a press conference with Don once where Don was like, "Hey, that is all Kevin, and that's not me." When you hear people say that, in most sports, it's usually coach and general manager. In this case, Don literally said, "It's not me, it's Kevin." So with that being said, that gives you the notion that Kevin is at work and making a lot of decisions and building on a lot of different things. So it's the culture and the bar that he sets for me that most impresses me about Kevin Adams.
As we are talking about Buffalo Sabres here on Vegas Hockey Hub on PR Connections Radio, I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. We're here with Andre Robinson from Rise Up Sports. And you have a trio of first-round picks that are going to be part of your middle city. You have Casey Middlestat, who you got a couple years ago in 2017. Of course, you have Dylan Cousins, and you have Jack Quinn.
Phenomenal.
So
Jack
those
Quinn,
trio of first-round picks, what's your takeaway on that? Those are three young, upcoming guys.
So you heard me while you were saying that, saying phenomenal. Dylan Cousins is a bona fide short shot, going to be a stud, / could be a star, with more development as he continues to play. Dylan Cousins had highs last year as well, in scoring, last year. Did a phenomenal job. Looks a lot better, more fearless. We talk about the way you play the game, playing fearless. He plays a lot more fearless than he did in it at points that I've seen him play before last season. So Dylan is going to be really good. Jack Quinn, when he steps on the ice, he definitely is one of those guys who makes a difference, an impact. We saw that a lot last year when he stepped on the ice. And in fact, I was one of the guys who, I don't know if you remember this, but I was one of the guys who called out the organization for not putting them in the game more than they did over somebody like Middlestat, which I think Casey did a better job towards the end of the season getting his footing together and playing. Because if you want to talk about up and down last season, he was up and down last season. Casey Middlestat definitely
started rough,
the beginning of the season. Yes, he definitely. There was some times where there was talks about maybe moving Casey, and then he got it together towards the end of the season. So I mean, all of those first round guys, I think will be really good, and I think they're going to be a very valuable part to the team as we continue to move towards the goal, which is hopefully seeing the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup coming up this season. At the end of the season would be very nice. Wouldn't y'all want to see Ian Rachiele, and the Firestarter in the same place? Covering teams on the opposite side, two guys who've been around each other for 6+ years. That's a dream come true for me. I hope it happens sooner than later. But yeah, I think they're going to be really good.
I will say this, since unfortunately he passed away, but there was a guy in radio I worked with named Brian Blessing, and he was out there in Buffalo for many years. And then he came to Vegas, and he was a longtime Sabres fan. We used to talk about Sabres hockey off the air. So, yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see the Sabres and the Golden Knights going at it to stay like a final. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, absolutely it would. You know it would. It would be a good thing. Yeah, and he died at 64.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Blessing, yeah. One of the best sports betting personalities around.
Absolutely, man. He actually showed me a lot about radio. So props to Brian Blessing there. Now, defensively, somehow we went almost 20 minutes without even talking about the Sabres defense, which is criminal. And Rasmus Dahlin, you got Salmielson, and you have Owen Power. That is a 1-2-3 punch right there in terms of Buffalo Sabres.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Rasmus Dahlin, even, you know what? You want to talk about a roller coaster? Get on the Rasmus Dahlin roller coaster. Rasmus Dahlin has one of those games where you're like, oh my goodness, why the hell did you do that, Rasmus Dahlin? And then he has one of those games like, wow, what a hell of a job, Rasmus. And I think he had one of the biggest hits during the season, heard around the world. We talked about last season where he laid somebody clean out. And I'm like, that's the Rasmus I like to see. The fighter. I call him the fighter. He's a cage fighter to me, Rasmus Dahlin. Really good guy, I think, again. And he had career highs last year in points. Owen Power, another guy, really good guy. I think he's going to produce very well. Samuelson played pretty good in some games. Matthias Samuelson, by the way, played pretty good in some of those games last year. I just think that the Buffalo Sabres need another scoring defenseman. I think that's what they're missing. I think they're that step away from getting to the next level. And once they get to the next level, it's gonna be like peeling those to get to that fruit. And once they get to the fruit, the Buffalo Sabres been hungry for a long time. I think they're going to be very successful.
And we have about 5 minutes left here on the show, so we have about a few more questions left. So the Buffalo Sabres, they did make some moves this offseason. Of course, bringing over Tyson Jost from the Minnesota Wild, Eric Johnson, Connor Clifton. I mean, they made some small, minor moves to help out the bottom six, to help out the third defensive pairing in Buffalo. But was there any notable moves on your end that you kind of like noticed out there in Buffalo?
No, but they do have prospects coming up. By the way, prospect night is coming right away, very soon. We got some different things going on here in Buffalo, which I'm very excited for. But as far as moves is concerned, they didn't make any real sexy, what we call sexy moves. But they made moves to add depth to the team, which I think is going to help. And then, again, boy, oh boy, we're going to get to see when that putt drop exactly what they're going to be. We're going to see. But nothing very splashy to me came out of the offseason for the Buffalo Sabres. And I don't think they really needed anything super splashy to come out of the offseason.
Now, lastly, I got to take you back 2 years ago. The Buffalo Sabres had traded a fan favorite in Sam Reinhart to the Florida Panthers. Mm-hmm. And they got this young 19-year-old goaltender at the time. He was a prospect. But he had a lot of upside. Who would know that 2 years later, after the Sam Reinhart trade, he would become your starting goaltender in Buffalo, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. So tell me, what is the expectations like in Buffalo for Devin Levi?
Devin Levi, I tell you, I am super ecstatic about Devin Levi. Him, along with the pairing of UPL, is going to be phenomenal.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Yes. Say that name again. Say that.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Say that 5 times. That's right. Say it 5 times fast. That ain't an easy name to say. But Ian hit it right on the nail with that one, for sure. I expect a lot of great things for him because the last goaltender that we got, Mr. Stiff as a cardboard, his name will forever remain nameless in my mind. So I'm not giving him no press time by even mentioning his name because he was that god awful. I think that Devin Levi learned from him. I'm sure that he watched what he saw from the Sabres goaltending last year, in which yours truly once again put it out there as far as goaltending is concerned and asked about the goaltending, in which I think put the Sabres on notice that we needed another goaltender besides UPL to kind of help the Sabres continue to win at a consistent rate. And I think Devin Levi will be able to do that. I think we won't have those same spurts in which you give up 5 goals. I think you remember, Rocco, last year, there was a spurt where the Sabres was giving up more than 5 goals, but 35% of their games in the beginning of the season, which was crazy beyond belief. I'm like, dude, this is almost every other game, 5 goals. Mm-hmm. Like, is it the goaltending or is it the defense? Like, I don't think we'll have to question that so much now with Levi being the guy.
Now, one last part before we have to let you go and before we end the show. There is no secret that the Buffalo Sabres have the longest playoff drought in North America. 12 seasons. The Buffalo Sabres have not made the playoffs. Detroit is second, by the way, with 7 seasons, right behind Buffalo. So when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres, can they finally do it? Can your Buffalo Sabres finally end that playoff drought of 12 seasons?
Yeah, the Buffalo Sabres was a game or two away from doing it last season. Yes, it's going to happen. Matter of fact, Rocco, right here on the show, I'm going to put out a wager for you. You can go to your best pizza spot, and I will cash app you. If the Buffalo Sabres do not make the playoffs, I will cash app you so you can go get your favorite pizza from Las Vegas, wherever that may be.
Chicago, guys, is a good pizzeria, so I would not take you.
Oh, my goodness. Gino East is the best, by the way. Okay? Gino East is the best in Chicago. Point blank, period.
What about Giordano's?
Huh?
What about Giordano's?
Giordano's is good too, but Gino East takes the cake for me.
So we have to get off the air. But hey, Andre, appreciate you coming on the show and Buffalo Sabres discussion. Go watch all of his content, Rise Up Sports. And, this was a fantastic show. I appreciate everyone for watching. And until next time, continue watching hockey. Go support junior hockey and go Knights. Go.